Welcome to Hump Day Q&A. This is Sophie from Happy Baby Sleep, and today's question comes from Sam. Sam asks about her 8-week-old and sleeping shorter sleeps between 30 minutes and an hour, and is this normal for this age? Thanks so much, Sam, for your question, and I'm really glad that you asked about the catnapping. It seems to be one of the main difficulties, among others, like early rising and also overnight wakings, and also rocking and feeding to sleep that most parents have difficulties with. And it seems to be especially a habit that causes a lot of grief in the first 3 months. And the reason for this really is that, especially in the first 3 months, while our babies are developing their circadian rhythm, which is their internal body clock, they're still sorting their day from night. Their day patterns are the last to be established. So you can expect sort of inconsistencies in sleep patterns anywhere up to sort of 6 to 7 months. So until they've established their circadian rhythm somewhere between 10 to 12 weeks, that day-night confusion can still exist, and we can see those shorter naps. Especially in the early months, there is also biological reasons, other than circadian rhythm, why our babies only sleep shorter periods. And I'm not talking about all babies. I know that some babies can sleep longer stretches, 2 hours, 3 hours plus, but the majority of babies that I come across or that I deal with, do have that sort of that catnapping difficulty where they are only sleeping, between 20 to 40 minutes at a time, and that seems to be a consistent pattern. So with the actual sleep patterns in the first 3 months, or even in the first 6 months, babies spend 50% of their time in REM sleep, which is a lighter stage of sleep. So this explains why they are more easy to wake, perhaps than adults, and as our children get older, they can sleep more heavily. What you see happen with this pattern in sleep is that as they progress, as they become older, and at 6 months, this actually reduces from 50% in REM sleep. It actually changes to down to 30%. So the majority of their time then at 6 months onwards is actually spent in non-REM sleep, which is actually a deeper stage of sleep that they're more difficult to awaken. So that's also something to keep in mind in the first 6 months. That is a biological reason why our children don't sleep as long as what we would anticipate. So absolutely developmentally normal, especially at 8 weeks. I just want to let you know, I know that it can be extremely frustrating for parents. We know we come from a want it now mentality. A lot of us are having babies later. We come from corporate jobs. We're used to, controlling pretty much everything in our daily lives. We have a lot of flexibility. We can pretty much just pick up and go and do whatever we want, and then we have this baby, and we find it really quite confronting when we can't control them, and we can't control their sleep, and we can't control their sleep patterns, and it's absolutely normal to feel a little bit disheartened sometimes, a little bit defeated and exhausted as well, especially in the first 3 months. That's just a given. So I totally understand that, having been obviously a parent to 3 kids myself, having been through that, and also with my clients experiencing that on a daily basis. So you're definitely not alone, and it does improve. And it does improve so long as, you do have some consistency, with routine, with sleep associations, and also with environment. So if you're constantly changing, it may take a lot longer for your child to establish their daytime sleeping patterns, but if you are consistent, then you will see that towards 6 months they can sleep a little bit longer as their awake time increases. So I do have also a couple of articles on my blog about catnapping that gives you further information to this video today, and also on getting into a routine which has awake times for the first 12 months, which can help you out. So as far as solutions go for catnapping, there's quite a few. So there's environmental and there's routine. First and foremost, I always want to say at times of illness or teething or developmental leaps, our children, no matter what age they are, can naturally regress with their daytime sleeping patterns. It's not uncommon to see catnapping as a result, or shorter naps. They can have more bedtime resistance, and that's purely because they're either overstimulated, they're learning so much during times of leaps that their little brains are sort of working overtime, so they can find it really hard to settle down to sleep. At times like that, I always say, if you can incorporate some wind down time, make sure you've got some sleep association, some consistent positive sleep associations before bed. So whether that's going into a dark room and you've got some white noise playing, you swaddle them or put them in their sleep bag, read a book, and off to bed, and that stays consistent. So it's a heads up to your baby that they know it's sleep time, rather than just scooping them off from where they're playing and popping them into bed without that sort of kind of time to I guess get ready for bed and relax. So that's one thing with leaps, and then with teething and illness, then that waking or inability to sleep any longer than anywhere between 20 and 40 minutes tends to be just out of pure pain or discomfort. So there's a couple of things. You can check out my blogs. I've got articles on managing sort of teething and illness, and how to manage sleep at those times, so check those out. So some of the solutions for catnapping, environmental, would be keeping a dark room. So a dark room signals to your baby's brain to release the sleep hormone, which is melatonin. So it also helps to reduce stimulation. So the lighter the room, the more they can see around, especially from 6 weeks, when they start becoming a little bit more aware of their environment and they start looking around, they become easily distracted. So the darker that room, for the melatonin, and also for lower stimulation. On the flip side of that, it's really good to get them out during the day and having them in direct sunlight. That stimulates the production of melatonin. That also helps with helping to set their body clock, their circadian rhythm. So that's really good for routine and everything as well. Other environmental factors is having white noise. I'm a massive fan of white noise, as you probably know by now. So that helps to block out any outside or internal household noises at sleep time that could be waking them prematurely. So it just helps to keep that even, consistent tone while they're sleeping. So definitely white noise. I also say temperature. So a lot of babies can wake up at the 20-minute mark, 30-minute mark, 40-minute mark from sleep because they're either too hot, too cold. So, trying to maintain a temperature between 19 and 22 is ideal. Not so easy, I know, during the warmer months like we're having in Australia at the moment. It's much easier to maintain that environment when it's cold. So do what you can, and I do have a bedding guide that's in my 0 to 24 month plan if you wish to purchase that on my website. Another thing is making sure that they are going down awake, so not completely asleep when they're going down to bed. And the reason for this, I see it all the time with sort of rocking to sleep, feeding to sleep, patting to sleep, or holding to sleep, or anything that we're doing as parents to get our children to sleep. Actually interferes with their ability to self-settle. So if they're not self-settling at the start of the nap, then they can wake that 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes later, waking up expecting the same treatment again to get back to sleep, because they can't quite transition themselves into the next sleep cycle alone without your help. So trying to get them down as awake as you can. And I normally say, in the first 3 months, it's quite difficult. They're used to that assistance from us, especially, we call it the 4th trimester. So even if you can get them to go down awake 50% of the time, it's a great start. And then, you want to rule out, you want to rule out hunger. So a lot of babies can wake prematurely from naps because they're hungry. So sometimes, I recommend to feed before naps, just to rule that out. I know it doesn't suit all babies, especially babies that have reflux, because they can't go straight down on their back after they have a feed. So it's not going to suit everyone, but that's something that you can try. And then with routine, which is one of the main offenders really, if we're missing that awake window, their optimal sleep window, which changes depending on how old your baby is. If you're missing that, they're going down either undertired, so they're not quite ready for bed, or they're going down too overtired, which, just miss the boat completely. You're going to get bedtime resistance, and, when they actually do fall asleep, it's only going to be a really short nap. So important to really stick to the awake times if you can. I mean, I'm not stringent on set times for bed or anything like that for sleep times. You know, I don't follow a really strict routine, and I don't expect that of my clients. You know, I definitely incorporate a lot of flexibility into my routines available on my website. But, you know, just following the awake times, the recommended awake times for your baby's age is important to make sure that you're adhering to that as much as possible to avoid, well, to ensure that they can sleep as well as possible. So whilst we can't control it, we can't fix it, you can do what you can to make sure that they're going to sleep with everything that's going on at the time, all the other variables, you know, such as teething and hunger and environmental and everything. There are so many variables to why our babies may not sleep how we expect them to. So, you know, if we can, like I said before, maintain as consistent as we can, that's always a good help. So I hope that's helped a little bit. Like I said, I've got further information. I've got a blog on solutions for a catnapping baby. The link is below. And keep your Hump Day Q&A questions coming. Thank you very much for your question today, Sam. I hope that's helped. And any further questions, just let me know. Comment on the thread below, and look forward to hearing from you. Thanks, guys.